As of January 2024, there are thought to be over 75,000 vertebrate species, as well as over 1.3 million invertebrates. This total of over 1.4 million species is broken down into 34 phylums, 101 classes, 601 orders, and 7,629 families, with an average of 185 species per family. However, with such a large number of families and widely varying rates of speciation, the process by which populations evolve to become distinct species, this number is far from representative. As humans, we share our family with 7 other species, commonly known as the great apes. The most recent addition was made in 2017 when the Tapanuli orangutan was found to be a distinct species. The American Society of Mammalogists lists 6,718 total species, contained within 167 families. More than 50% of these species are found within the 2 largest orders, which unsurprisingly contain the 3 largest families. In third place is a family of microbats, which contains 531 species, collectively referred to as the common, vesper or simple-nosed bats. The top 2 families are contained within Rodentia, the largest mammalian order, and are separated by just 1 species. The second largest holds 871 species of mice, rats, and gerbils, including all of the true mice. The top spot is claimed by another member of the same superfamily, which contains 872 species, including true hamsters, voles, lemmings, muskrats, and the New World rats and mice. Although Mammalia contains the smallest number of species of the 5 major groups of vertebrates, its large rodent families are enough to lift it above birds, whose maximum family size is almost half. BirdLife International lists 11,195 species, contained in 247 families, which is roughly 50% more than the number of mammalian families. On a higher level, this class is broken down into 36 orders, just one of which contains far more than any other. Passerine birds make up over half of all avian species, with over 10 times the number of the second largest order, but only includes the 2 largest families. The third largest contains 395 species of holotropical parrot, including some of the most spectacular birds such as the blue and yellow macaw and the scarlet macaw. The second largest is a passerine family containing 407 species of small, colourful birds from the neotropics, known as tanagers. This family also includes Darwin's finches, which are found on the different islands of the Galapagos and are commonly used as an example of speciation. Finally, the largest family contains the tyrant flycatchers and is another collection of equally colourful New World passerine birds numbering 450 species. Despite having a fairly similar amount of species, the number of avian families is over 3 times that of Amphibia, which contains the first family we'll explore to cross the 1,000 mark. The American Museum of Natural History's Amphibian Species of the World lists 8,724 species contained in 77 families, the smallest number of the 5 major vertebrate groups, and just 3 orders, one of which contains the vast majority of species and the 3 largest families. Coming in at number 3 is a family of narrow-mouthed frogs known as microhylids, a diverse group of 746 species which range in size from just 1 centimetre up to 10. The second largest amphibian family contains 801 species, all of which are native to South America. This family also contains the largest vertebrate genus, totaling 608 species as of 2024. The largest family is home to 1,051 species, commonly referred to as the tree frogs and their allies, although this family neither contains all of the tree frogs, nor is every species arboreal. The total number of amphibian, avian, and mammalian species is over 26,000, but this number is still less than the total number of fish species, a group that also contains the largest number of families. Eschmeyer's catalogue of fishes lists 36,775 valid species, contained in 78 orders and 608 families as of 2024. This enormous number of species is categorized into 3 major groups. Agnatha consists of the jawless fish and contains just 2 orders, 4 families and 137 species. Chondrichthyes is almost 10 times larger, consisting of 1,300 cartilaginous fishes, such as sharks and rays, contained in 14 orders and 67 families, the largest of which is a family of 160 skates. Finally, Osteichthyes represents by far the largest group, whose members are referred to as bony fish, and number over 35,000 species, categorized into 62 orders and 537 families. The size of these orders is more balanced than the other groups we've explored, and it is not the largest order that contains the largest family. The third largest family contains 1,755 species of cichlid, which are another commonly used example of speciation, this time in the Great Lakes of the African continent. The second largest family is home to carps, true minnows, and others. This used to be considered the largest of all vertebrate families with over 3,000 species, but reclassification has now brought this down to 1,791. The largest family falls just shy of the 2,000 mark, with a total of 1,988 species of goby, which are diverse in size and appearance, ranging from 1 cm up to 27. Surprisingly, although the total number of fish species is over 3 times that of reptilia, we have yet to discover the largest vertebrate family, which takes the top spot by just over 100 species. The reptile database currently lists 12,060 species, contained within 93 families. This combination of a large number of species, the second highest of the 5 major vertebrate groups, and a low number of families, the second lowest of the vertebrates, results in reptilia proudly owning the largest vertebrate family. There are 4 major groups of reptiles, which are classified slightly differently depending on source. The largest of these groups contains the snakes, lizards, geckos, and many other reptiles, and is home to all of the largest families. Third place may not contain as many species as the fish families we explored earlier on, but the 1,577 species of gecko is well worth a mention as some of the coolest animals on the planet. Similarly, the 1,741 species of skink found in Reptilia's second largest family are just as fascinating, and in fact is still enough to rank as the 5th largest vertebrate family. The largest family contains 2,105 species of snake, referred to as colubrids. It is one of the most diverse groups found on every continent with the exception of Antarctica, and contains both non-venomous and venomous species. All of the species discussed so far are contained within the subphylum Vertebrata. Vertebrata makes up the majority of Chordata, one of the 34 phylums in the kingdom Animalia. Most of these phylums are relatively small in the context of the animal kingdom, and Chordata ranks as the 3rd largest behind Mollusca and Arthropoda. As we dive into the world of invertebrates, there are 2 databases we'll be using: the Catalogue of Life and the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, or GBIF. While the number of species, families, and other taxon does differ significantly between the two, conveniently both of them agree on the largest families in each of the following sections. Mollusca is the 2nd largest phylum in the animal kingdom, and interestingly exhibits one of the largest discrepancies between the 2 databases, with between 86,600 species according to the Catalogue of Life, and a shade under 180,000 according to the GBIF. These species are split between 8 to 10 classes, by far the largest of which belongs to the gastropods. This class contains slugs and snails, and the largest families surpass the numbers found in Vertebrata. The second largest contains between 29 to 3,100, depending on the database, and are all found on land. It is in the aquatic realm, however, where the largest family is found, containing between 34 to 4,400 species of sea snails, known as pyramid shells. Having traversed 2 of the 3 largest phylums, the scale for displaying each of the largest families changes dramatically as we enter the world of the arthropods. Arthropoda is by far the largest phylum in the animal kingdom, containing well over 10 times the number of species as both Chordata and Mollusca, with somewhere between 1.1 to 1.3 million species. There is one class within Arthropoda that contains far more species than any other, but 2 that we'll explore, starting with the arachnids. Arachnida contains between 93 to 113,000 species, and in addition to spiders and scorpions, also contains ticks and mites, all of which have 8 legs. Like many other groups we've explored, Arachnida is dominated by one order, which contains around 50,000 species, and the 2 largest families of spiders. The second largest contains between 47 to 5,600 species, commonly referred to as the sheet weavers or money spiders, known to bring good luck to those who are lucky enough to find one crawling upon them. The largest family not only contains the greatest number of spider species, at between 64 to 6,800, but some of the most incredible species. They are referred to collectively as jumping spiders and are known both for their agility and their distinctive eye patterns. Taking another step up in family size, we now have just 4 orders left to explore, all of which are contained in the class Insecta. Insects make up by far the largest portion of the animal kingdom, and can be differentiated from their arachnid cousins by the presence of 6 legs instead of 8. There are 43 orders inside of Insecta, just 5 of which break the 100,000 species mark, and just 4 of which contain at least one family in the top 10. For insects, it is not only the large number of species that contributes to their large family size, but also a relatively small number of families, the quantity of which is comparable to those of the vertebrate groups. The order Hemiptera is home to between 99 to 110,000 species of true bugs, split between 158 to 409 families. Despite this large discrepancy between the number of families, both databases agree that the largest family, whose members are known as leafhoppers, numbers almost exactly 23,000 species, and is enough to put this family in a solid 9th position. Lepidoptera is the second largest order, containing not only a large number of species, at between 164 to 181,000, but also a smaller number of families at between 140 to 167. The second largest family belongs to the geometer moths, which number between 22 to 23,000 species, including the peppered moth, another famous species in the field of evolutionary biology. The largest family also contains moths and numbers between 23 to 26,000 species, including quite possibly the coolest named species in the animal kingdom, the Arctic woolly bear moth. These numbers put Lepidoptera at number 7 and 8, leaving just 2 orders left to claim the missing 7 families. Hymenoptera contains the wasps, bees, ants and sawflies, and while the total species count may not be as large as Lepidoptera at between 118 to 151,000, it does contain one family that is marginally larger and another that still makes the top 10. The smaller of the 2 families contains between 19 to 23,000 species of parasitoid wasps. The larger of the 2 is another parasitoid wasp family, known as ichneumon wasps, and numbers between 24 to 26,000 species. This gives Hymenoptera 10th and 6th place respectively, leaving all of the top 5 spots to be claimed by one single order. Coleoptera is the home of the beetles, and contains by far the largest number of species in the animal kingdom, at between 323 to 373,000, in addition to a relatively small number of families at between 200 to 342. Both the longhorn beetles and the scarab beetles number between 35 to 36,000, and take 4th and 5th spots depending on which database you use. Ground beetles number 5 to 6,000 more and are mostly carnivorous, feasting on other invertebrates including other beetles. The second largest family contains the rove beetles and is significantly larger at between 66 to 68,000 species, but falls just short of the top spot. Curculionidae, better known as the snout beetles or true weevils, numbers roughly 74 to 77,000 species, which is more than enough to claim the title of the largest family in the entire animal kingdom. These tiny creatures are not just subject to larger family sizes and presumably a lot more Christmas presents, but differ in many ways to larger animals, including their musculoskeletal system, which you can learn about in this video, exploring the many ways that body size affects an animal's existence. Thank you so much for watching.